Ah, you're back.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Lee the Warlord, and then next we have Rukia. Rukia is a kind-hearted soul reaper with an old-fashioned tone who uses a wide variety of moves to get into her range. Translation error, Rukia is a girl. Ease of use, once again, one of the easier characters to use. You can just pick her up and it should be pretty simple to go. But I do think it's interesting that she has a spread that's so... I didn't see how fast she was the first trailer, to be completely honest. Like, I thought it would be more so like technique, reach, then attack power, and then maybe a little bit of strength. But it makes sense that she's squishy. So yeah, she's very fast, has decent range, almost a zoner, but more so that mid to semi-long range, but I'd say mid to close range. Her attack power is okay, and she's primarily techniques. The first technique that they show off with Rukia is the Hado number 31. So with the Hado number 31, fires a red cannon forward. The power and timing of the red fire cannon can be changed by pressing and holding the button normally or holding it down. So I guess it can go longer and it's stronger if you hold it down, and if you press it normally it'll come out faster. And then they don't specify like specifically what input you have to hold when looking at this. Okay, so that's actually really good. I didn't realize how much. I thought it was just one fireball, like from memory. Oh, that's going to be very annoying to deal with, the way that she just throws 3 of them out like that. And then the power and timing of the red cannon can be charged by pressing and holding the button normally or holding it down. I don't know how that would affect that, but that's very interesting. That's going to be extremely annoying to deal with. Ichigo's counter might be something good for that, or maybe even Chad's counter if that teleport that we saw is part of it. But that is very, very annoying. And then the second thing that we see is her first spiritual pressure move. Oh, and that wasn't even what, that was just one of her unique skills. That wasn't her special flash attacks, as they say. Her first spiritual pressure technique is actually Hado number 4, White Lightning. Firing white lightning while stepping backwards, there is an invincibility period when it is activated, making it possible to attack unilaterally while avoiding the opponent's attacks. I think they do a pretty good job of showcasing how that can be used. Yeah, so that's going to be very annoying to deal with. And then her second spiritual pressure attack is the Hado number 33, Blue Fire Fall. Charges forward and slashes, and if it hits, follows up with a blue firefall. It's just like a little push attack, like she just hit you with a little blue fireball. And then her awakening is the Sode Shirayuki. By unleashing this, her overall abilities are strengthened. Furthermore, her spiritual pressure techniques are transformed into techniques that make full use of Soden Shirayuki. So all of her moves get a buff, and it seems like her actual kit changes. So pretty much all of this probably goes to right here, and maybe even this gets maxed out. Next, we have our first not so easy to pick up and use character, Uryu Ishida. He's a proud warrior who pierces enemies with a variety of long-range attacks. Of course, with his bow and arrow, his range is maxed out, damn near falling off the page. He's pretty speedy, and he's primarily techniques, but he doesn't hit very hard, and he is super duper squishy. So keep that in mind when you pick him up, and maybe that's part of the reason why he is a little bit harder to use, is how squishy he is and the fact that you don't do as much damage per hit. So interestingly enough, we don't see this rain of light in the trailer at all, but this is a technique that shoots arrows into the air and attacks with a rain of arrows. You can increase the number of arrows by holding down the button. The first thing that they show us is the Quincy arrow. Like, they just go straight into the spiritual pressure technique. So I think it's interesting that not all characters are having their abilities shown in full. And as a matter of fact, that Ichigo that we talked about didn't have Getsuga Tensho as one of his abilities, so maybe that's a special, like a super attack. That's probably his like Kikon, the stock breaking move. That's probably what it is. But anyway, back to Uryu. His Quincy arrow is a technique that shoots arrows forward. When it hits, it moves forward with a flying kick. It doesn't actually kick them, it just is like the animation, and fires continuous arrows that pursue the opponent. This is a pretty decent looking move too. It's got nice flash, nice flare to it. Next thing that they show us is spiritual pressure move 2, the Steel and Schneider, soul removing, I guess is the translation. By holding the Steel Schneider and blocking the attack while holding it in place, a powerful counter attack can be performed. So that's just a fancy way of saying he'll hold a stance, and if you hit him when he's in that stance, he'll do a counter attack. And that's pretty straightforward. Maybe looking at the way that counter attack works, maybe he can combo into things from that. So when they're popped up in the air, maybe he can use Rain of Light, or maybe he can use the Quincy arrow and actually do some decent damage. That would make sense for his technique and maybe even his skill to be so high, or I'm sorry, his speed to be so high. If he can combo, that would be super duper sick. And then his awakening, they call it random outfit. In the trailer, they call it, yeah, the Ryansu Tengai. So that's maybe that's what that stands for. And his awakening, by using Ryansu Tenkai, its performance is strengthened. So his attacks, his performance is strengthened. The damage dealt to the opponent and the amount of spiritual power acquired are particularly strengthened, making it easier to use spiritual pressure techniques. They have something here called unique specifications. This is called spirit particle convergence state. When the counter with the spiritual pressure technique 2, soul piercer, so this is successful, various attacks become more powerful. After awakening, the spirit particles are always in a convergent state. Interesting. So after he hits you with the counter, his attack on Rain of Light, Quincy arrow, and most likely his, just regular auto attack string or combos that you do generally, it seems that they become more powerful, so they'll do more damage. Maybe they're even faster. And then after awakening, you don't even have to use this counter mechanic to have that bonus activated. It's just always like that, and your attacks always do that more damage. And then I think we see his reawakening in the trailer as well. Yes, so we see the reawakening, but it is not mentioned here, which I think is interesting. So we don't actually have very much information on what the reawakenings do or what they are. But yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting for him to have a unique specification. But I think it's just so weird that they're not showing us all of these abilities, unless the game just isn't far enough along for that to be a thing. They're just not showing us all of the abilities in a way that they're listed, or in the way that they're listed here. So very interesting. Definitely leave a like and comment and subscribe if you enjoyed that one. Stick around for more Bleach content. Once this game comes out, I am going crazy. It's been real. It's your boy Lee the Warlord, and I'm out of here. Peace.